Okay, so hello, welcome to the Oral Health Podcast. Now, as we are leaving summer and we're now in September, which is really scary, but as we go, um, we're just going to have a little bit of a chat about going back to school, getting back into that routine, and how that can affect oral health in the positive and the negative. Karen, how are you doing this morning?
I'm good. I like the way that you mentioned summer because I don't really remember it somehow. I remember a lot of raining and
Yeah, exactly. We had one good week, and then that was kind of it. But as we go on, that'll be
well,
fine.
we're still here anyway, so that's got to be a good
Exactly.
thing. But yes, going back to school, that's 6 weeks. I know when my children were younger, it used to really drag. It flies by now. Now I actually like the holidays because it's easier to get to work and back
Mhm.
because there's no cars on the road. But
Yep.
yes, they've got to go back sometime, and I'm sure it'll be a relief to many, many parents out there. But getting back into that routine can be quite difficult because you've probably had sort of lazy mornings, getting up a little bit later, not having the rushing around. And you've got to get back into the getting up early and get back into that military maneuver that it takes to get out every day at the right time. So that includes, starting off, they get up, they have a wash, they brush their teeth that they might have been doing later in the day during the holidays. So we've got to get back into this, brushing the teeth as they get up in the morning, alongside,
Mhm.
brushing their hair and washing themselves. So if we can get back into that, then obviously, we're on the right track, certainly from a tooth perspective. I can't guarantee the hair, but the tooth perspective. And then they can come down and have their breakfast. So then that's them ready on the road. I mean, obviously, if they've got a mouth that if you've had cereal or something like that, and you want to cleanse your mouth afterwards, an age appropriate fluoride rinse or even a glass of water will help to
Mhm.
cleanse the mouth. Don't brush again because you're kind of brushing just after eating, which is obviously what we don't recommend because of the demineralization that happens when you've eaten your breakfast, especially if you've had something with sugar in. So, this is the time we normally have fruit juices or smoothies or things like that. So, those are very high in natural sugars. So, we don't want those demineralized teeth brushed for an hour. And if you were anything like me, you didn't have an hour between breakfast and leaving the house.
Oh
It,
God, no. That was a good day.
oh, that was, yeah, that's a day on holiday, isn't it? But yeah, so their mouth is clean as they go out of the house. So that's really important to get back into that.
Definitely. Now, one thing you said there that I think is going to cause a little bit of a stir. You said about brushing your teeth and then coming down and having breakfast. I think people often think, oh no, we need to brush afterwards so that you're going out and there's no food in your teeth or whatever. But and especially because I've got friends that went to boarding school and they said it was very much military operation. You have your breakfast, then you brush your teeth, and then you're out the door.
Mm.
But actually, it's not necessarily the best thing for
No,
your teeth,
no,
is it?
it's not. And as I say, ideally, in that ideal world that where none of us live in, we would leave it an hour after our breakfast to brush our teeth and then leave for school. But unless you're going to get your kids up at like 6 o'clock in the morning, feed them the breakfast, wait an hour, then brush their teeth, that's not feasible. It might be on the
No.
weekend. Yeah, why not? It probably is at the weekends. But when you've got a deadline that you're working to, I mean, so many of us work as well, and it might be you've got to get your kids to a breakfast club, for example. So they might
Mm-hmm.
have their breakfast in a different place to home, so they've got to brush their teeth before they go because there won't be any facility to, again, wait the hour and brush their teeth afterwards. So, it's just that we're, like I say, we can't do everything completely by the book. But what we've got to try and do is damage limitation, really. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a lot of that with children. You have to compromise and you have to do what is, the least damaging. And
Yeah.
brushing your teeth before, You're going down there with a clean mouth. As I say, if you want to neutralize it, by all means. Some fluoride rinses are 6 plus, so you might have to wait until they're in like year one. Reception might be, they might be too young for it. And some are even 12 plus, so we're looking at high school. So just make sure if you're going to use a mouth rinse that it is age appropriate. So don't use anything that says 6 plus if your child's 4. In that case, I would give them a glass of water after their juice, because okay, it's not got the remineralizing effect of fluoride. However, it will dilute the acid to a degree, so it's better than nothing, really.
Definitely. And obviously, this is all younger children. If you've got older children that are in high school, one thing I wanted to get your opinion on as well is because I remember when I was in high school and people with braces, there was a lot of, oh, you need to clean your teeth very thoroughly when you've got braces, and it's very much drilled into you, as it should be, because it's more important in some ways to get everywhere. But obviously, when you're at school and you've had food and whatever, you're not going to the bathroom to clean your teeth in school. What and you can't really use chewing gum. So what is fluoride mouth rinse the best thing when you've got braces to just
just for a quick rinse out at lunchtime. They do little orthodontic packs that you can take to school with you. It's almost like a little pencil case kind of thing, and it will have your toothbrush, the toothpaste, a little bottle of rinse, and an interdental brush, because there's nothing more annoying than having braces in and you've got something stuck and you can't get it off. So if you've got that in your school bag, you could go off and brush your teeth, an hour after lunch. Or at least, as I say, they're just using the rinse. And if you've just got it in a little bottle, that'll be fine. But it's handy to have one of those little packs in your bag, just in case, because the last thing we want is to have beautifully straight teeth with big holes in them. So and you can get demineralization, which when the brackets come off, if you've got that kind of fixed brace, the demineralized area that's then remineralized is white, so you have white marks on your teeth. So it is important to keep your oral hygiene even better than you did before you had your braces on, in effect. So it is really important. But your orthodontist will drum that into you, and normally
and actually
sorry,
that thing with the white marks on that happened to me when I had my fixed braces off, but I still blame my orthodontist for that. And in the kindest possible way. He's definitely not practicing anymore, but he basically told my mum to avoid anything with fluoride in, because apparently the fluoride would damage the metal on the braces and it would corrode it. So he was a bit cuckoo. But
well,
so
that's your problem. That's what's happened. I mean, I've seen some very, very strange instructions when people have had orthodontic appliances that parents have spotted me and said, "Is this right?" And there's one child, and I read the do's and don'ts, and basically they were told to only eat anything beige. They weren't allowed to have
avoid everything with
pretty
minerals
much everything.
and fruits. And...
No meat, no roast potatoes, no Yorkshire pudding. I mean, okay, they are quite crunchy, quite crispy sometimes, but they're not like, what I agree with like pizza crust and French bread and that kind of thing, because you are actually tearing that. So you're kind of pulling it away with your front teeth, which will knock the brackets off, because that's the nature of crusty bread and pizza crusts. I mean, I never eat my crusts of my pizza. That's why I've got really, really straight hair, apparently. That's what my mother says, but I never eat the crust.
Maybe that's why I have curly hair, because I love a crust.
Yeah, well, we'll be all right. I don't like filling myself up on the crusty bit when the nice bit's in the middle.
Anyway, teeth. But it actually leads quite nice on to what I was going to ask you about is lunch boxes and lunch foods.
Okay.
Because obviously there's been a bit of debate around the office about oral health friendly snacks and what that includes, and Karen's covering her face. But it's things that are oral health friendly that you'd put in a lunchbox. things like
Absolutely. And,
crackers.
you know, schools these days are much, much better than in my day because you could pretty much take anything. But many schools
Mm-hmm.
now have like a chocolate ban. So you can't
Yeah.
take chocolates or chocolate biscuits or anything like that for lunch, which, you know, is a step in the right direction. But there's lots of ways that you can make your child's lunchbox healthier. You know, there's nothing wrong with the sandwich. Nothing wrong with the
Mm-hmm.
sandwich, you know. Let's put some cheese or um, some meat in it for protein. Um, put some salad in it for a bit of vegetable boost.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had a daughter who didn't like sandwiches, which, you know, is difficult when a child has sandwiches at school. So she
Mm-hmm.
would have, and she's a vegetarian as well. So we've got the double whammy. Don't like sandwiches and don't eat meat or fish. So she would have, you know, a hummus wrap with vegetables in. She does eat very healthy, I have to say, she still does. But, you know, little carrot sticks and a dip, little baby tomatoes. I mean, she would eat anything like that. And I know that's not every child, and I know you can't persuade a lot of kids to eat them, but you know, why not try them? I mean, I try it. I think it's important to even as an adult, you know, when you say, "Oh, I don't like that," it's important to retry it every few years because your taste does change. And I always
Yeah.
say the sort of the sign that you're an adult is liking olives because you know you're grown up then, don't you? And
Yeah.
you just sort of hit that. Oh, actually, these are really nice. Anyway, so yeah, anything like that. I mean, she's been known to take sushi. You know, it's quite an eclectic thing, but you know, you can make things. And I know we've had this argument in the office, and if anybody had been a fly on the wall, they would have, as
Thought we were
everybody
crazy.
else.
They would have thought we were crazy.
Well, everybody that doesn't work in PR would think we were crazy. People who work in PR, especially dental PR, would understand. And it was the difference between a meal and a snack. Now, I think we've got it. I think we've got it sorted now, and we've all decided that Sophie's wrong. So that's okay. It's all sorted now. So we were saying, you know, you could have a slice of quiche, you know, anything that you've got in your fridge. You don't have to necessarily go, oh, because my child has a packed lunch, it has to be sandwiches. But as I said, there's nothing wrong with a sandwich. It's what you put inside it, really. So
Mm-hmm.
um,
That
you know,
like a
there's
chocolate
lots of
spread
things.
sandwich. No,
No,
don't.
I don't
I
know.
know parents do that,
Do
but
they?
no judgment, but also a little bit
No,
of
no,
judgment.
but there's lots of other things. And like I said, if they don't like sandwiches, give them a wrap because that is less sort of heavy, isn't it? It's less sort of bready. So they quite like that. And I've often made up sort of a bowl of pasta the night before and just put some tuna through it or something. And you know, that lasts a couple of days and you can just sort of spoon it into a pot and they can take that. That's
Mm-hmm.
fine. But for snacking, piece of fruit, a banana. Banana's great. Banana's full of potassium. Will give them energy for the, you know, second part of the day. Because I think the first break is quite late into the day, and then lunch seems to be quite close to it. It's sort of a long time if they've had their breakfast at 7 o'clock, say, and they're having to go till 11 o'clock till they could have a snack. They're quite hungry by then. So
Mm-hmm.
let's give them something. I mean, those little cheddar biscuits, they're quite good. Little Twiglets. I know I'll get shouted at because they've got they're higher in salt than we probably would want, but they're tasty. But and
Rice cakes, even. I
it's
know
a
you've
bit of a
mentioned rice cakes before.
rice cakes, breadsticks and a dip. Why not? Um, you know, you could even get a little bit of salsa and just have a little pot that they can just eat that. I know that's probably more of a sit down at lunchtime thing because they want something handy that they can hold, that they can just get down
Mm-hmm.
quite quickly. I mean, I would avoid cereal bars and things like that because although they sound really, really healthy, they're full of sugar
Yeah.
and they're quite sticky as well. So just try and avoid. I mean, just if you think logically, anything that tastes sweet is going to have sugar in it. Anything that is sticky is going to stick to the teeth. So if you can try and avoid anything like that, then you know that's absolutely fine. You know, handful of nuts. That's quite
Yeah.
nice. Obviously, you know, we have to have, there will be
No
restriction.
allergy awareness and
Yeah, yeah,
things, and
yeah. There
yeah,
will be
yeah, yeah.
schools and places that those are banned, but you don't have to sort of sit in like my mother used to do. I think I probably had the same sandwiches from reception right the way through to when I left school, and probably at college as well. Um, you had sandwiches, you had a biscuit, you had a packet of crisps, and you had a piece of fruit, and that was every day. And also, you know, many schools these days don't allow juices in a bottle, which is great. So, you know, your child has a reusable water bottle, they can keep filling that up through the day. And hydration is really, really important. It's really, really important for learning and energy and attention. Those kind of things are great. Um, I do find schools, it's not a criticism of teachers or whatever, but they do sometimes reward the children with sweets, which
Hmm.
I wish they could find a different way. And a
I'm
little,
guilty of that as well. Like, I work with children, and I'm more like, oh, if you do this, I'll give you some whatever it is, like drumsticks or like
you
the
see now
chewy sweets
my
and things, and they
my
go
my
crazy for
thinking with
them.
that, yeah, we of course, but would they go more crazy for example, something that they could keep a little bit longer? And a little plug for our dental shop, there are lots of motivators out there, you know, a pencil that they can use, you know, something like, I know I'm sounding really, really boring, but you know, something that they could keep. Give them some toothpaste, give them a toothbrush, give them something that they can keep hold of. We do lots of different things that are quite fun that aren't sweets, and that would be great. Also, we're talking about school. The thing I absolutely hate is watching kids walking into school with either energy drinks. I don't know how they've got them because you have to be 16 to buy them. Perhaps the parents bought them, I don't know. Or full fat fizzy drinks, crisps and
Yeah.
sweets. And you watch them walk into school with those and you think, hmm, I don't know how we stop that. Do we not give them any money? I don't know. They're probably maybe they're spending their dinner money on it. I don't think kids carry money though, do they? It's all this fingerprint things. Um,
Yeah, but I mean, like, there's no avoiding it. Kids are going to get these things. There's always going to be dodgy corner shops that are going to sell them to them. Like, I know that's how a lot of the kids I work with end up walking in with cans of Monster, and we have to take it away and get it when you
well,
leave. And
my
it's
son's 25 and he gets age checked for buying energy drinks. Poor little
yeah, but
sausage.
you're in a significantly more middle class area to me. But no, going back to snacks and things, yogurts are a good one. Like, I was telling someone in our office, we used to get these squeezy yogurts, and you put them in the freezer, and then by the time you reach lunchtime or afternoon, they've melted and it's nice and cold. So it's like a nice refreshing
It's
snack.
it
They
is
were
very nice,
brilliant.
and she's never ever had a froob, has she? I think we should buy
Yeah.
some for
I
her.
was trying to avoid brands, but you know what?
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
Froobs.
Yeah.
I was a
Well,
big fan of
okay.
Froobs.
Yeah. I mean, they other makes of them are available.
I
You
don't
know,
actually think there are. I think
well, I
it's
think
just
they that
Froobs.
shops own do their own one. I don't think they call them. They obviously can't call them fruits, but they might just call them squeezy yogurts, maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I would say yes, that's fine. Plain yogurt would be better because the fruit ones still have, you know, sugar in. And look at them because low fat doesn't mean low sugar. And often things
Yeah.
that are low fat have more sugar in. So just beware and just have a look at it. Obviously, we're eating this as part of a meal time, and they are really, really nice when they're still frozen as well. You know, they're almost like
Like a
a
frozen
fruity
yogurt. Well,
yeah,
literally
like
a
it is
frozen yogurt,
frozen
yeah.
yogurt, isn't it? Literally. So yes, I mean that's really nice, especially on a hot day if you've had that in your bag and then it's really nice and cold for you. Yeah, but plain if possible.
Yeah.
I know yeah, when I was training, I was like childless and I did live in this perfect world where nobody ate sweets or cakes or biscuits and the only thing we ever drank was milk or water. And then you kind of get into the real world and you realize that it's not it's not about what you have, it's how much of it you have. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like the old thing, isn't it? You just have a balanced diet, you have a mix of everything. And if you're going to have something nice, have a treat, whatever, have it as part of a meal time, and that will be offer you the best protection. It'd be a very boring world if we all stuck to my rigid regime. But my children, luckily, didn't necessarily have a very sweet tooth. They don't really now. And when they were little, they would rather have, and they were horrible. I probably said this before, salt and vinegar rice cakes. Oh, the smell of them haunts me forever. And they used to eat them, and their lips used to go white with the vinegar. And they wouldn't have a biscuit; they'd have that. So I think it's, do we indoctrinate them by them offering them a biscuit, or I don't know. I don't know whether we're actually saying, oh, biscuits are really nice, I think my child would like one, because you want to make your child feel good, don't you? But you don't necessarily have to do it in that way, I suppose. But
Yeah.
I'm not being an old harridan about it. I don't know. God, if you saw our office sometime.
The debates we get into.
The debates we get into. And whilst we're eating jelly babies or something,
Yeah, usually accompanied by something horrible for us, like coffees or cakes or pastries.
Pastries.
We very rarely bring in fruit, do we? But maybe I'll start
that. You were laughing at my grapes yesterday.
Oh, I was, but that was really funny. We were having a debate about what was a snack and what was a meal, and Karen was, I think if it's a snack, and these bunch of grapes just kept coming out the bag like Mary Poppins bag. She had a big pile of grapes by the time she'd finished the sentence, and it was just funny. You had to be there, I guess.
Well, Sophie's idea of a snack is it has to have less than 3 ingredients in it, which is impossible.
No, not ingredients, components. So, like,
well, that's
you can't have a cheese board as a snack, but you can have a piece of cheese as a snack. Anyway, I just want to dob you in it a little bit, because before we started, and Karen said to me, very seriously, you better not bring up the quiche. You better not bring up the quiche. And she brought up the quiche. So there we go.
A slice of quiche on its own is a snack.
We're just going to have to agree to disagree.
Yeah, no. I think we should have a poll on this, because
that's serious in the about office, it.
I am really, really serious about it. Everybody in our office agrees that a piece of quiche is a snack. Same with a slice of leftover pizza. And again, you're saying that's a meal.
It's anyway, part we're not of getting into a meal.
I'm glad
she's getting very
angry.
I'm going to have to end the recording soon.
Anyway, I think we'll be back. That one out. I'm right as usual.
Be back. Okay, I'm trying to cut you off. All right, we'll be back next time talking about something different. But yeah, thank you for listening. Good luck going back to school.
It's a snack.
Bye.